Recording? Hey friends, this is the Strohl mountain light from Moment. It's an ultralight camera-ready mountain pack made in conjunction with Alex Strohl. He does some beautiful cinematography, outdoors, lots of hiking type stuff. And it is part of a series of bags. Here's like a little, like a camera thing. I'm gonna show you all this in just a second. There's a brain that goes on top of this. Right now I've got it in like minimal mode because that's how I'd probably travel with it. Inside there is a sort of medium-sized camera insert that is very protective. Lots of space around that for putting a bunch of stuff in here. Now, this is important. Great frame. It's got a little frame, little minimal frame around the outside. Solid straps, great hip straps. You even got like a pocket on one of them. Access to the camera cube comes through the back bottom of the bag, so your camera's safe in there, and you'll probably have to put it down the zippers a little bit, like maybe it'll break in a little bit. It's just not, almost one-handable, but then you got a little compartment right here with a meshy pocket up top. That's where I've put like ND filters and some SD cards. We're dealing with the waterproof Cordura fabric, some taped seams on the inside. I really dig this material, actually. It's a good mix. If you've seen bags made out of like Dyneema or something like that, that's extremely lightweight, tends to be really expensive. This is like a more of a nylon. They say waterproof Cordura fabric. That's what I've been told. Looks like a ripstop nylon of some kind. Good mix of lightweight plus durable. 45 liters soaking wet. This thing is just massive roll top, so you got this expandability that opens way up, and then you also have this brain bit here which goes onto the top of the bag, clips in with a couple minimal G hooks, and then attaches via the front G hook, which has a nice red sort of clip on it. It's nice because this is the kind of thing, especially when you're losing some light out there in wilderness, that you get used to seeing. Here on the back, you can see a couple little loops. There's some loops around, some accessory loops for adding on some stuff. This right here, that's what we're going to attach this brain thing to. It clicks there, and one of the nice things about this brain is you've got a zipper on the back of this and another zipper on the underneath. So using this, not only can you get the full capacity of the bag, you don't have to worry about creating any roll because the brain on the top just cinches it down, get way more stuff in there, and you've got a zipper, another zipper pocket, which is like, who doesn't like that? Why don't I have it on? It's just more minimal. I actually really dig just the one roll, flap down, throw it all together. So this G-hook is like, this is your attachment for the main thing. When I'm outside in ultralight, climbing Alps and things like that, I've never climbed Alps. You don't want to get in and out of this part all that often. You've got this camera loader, which goes on your hip straps, okay? So you can quickly get in and out for your camera if that's the object of your trip. This is a stuff sack. You stuff everything in there, get it down nice, and then you have access to anything you want on the outside of the bag here. These huge stuff numbers, right? Just throw a bunch of stuff, anything that you're gonna need right here. That's one of the best things about like the ultralight world, is when you're really out in nature, you don't have to worry about pickpockets. You have to worry about bears. You don't have to worry about mass transit. You have to worry about swarms of bees. You don't need to worry about, like, the nearest 7-Eleven. You are the nearest 7-Eleven. So stuff your snacks right down in here. Just make this thing full of bars. Just a bunch of bars. So if you're not using the brain on this thing, here's what you got. Two big ol' side, like these aren't meshies, but like elastic pockets, a big front meshy. You've got the camera dome there in the back. You've got two meshies here on the straps. And then you've got one pocket here on one of the hip straps, this is removable actually. You can pull this off. There's a clip that holds it together, but I don't know why you'd want to do that. This is another bar. You're like, the bar I'm going to eat in 25 minutes. I'm not going to eat it now. I'm going to eat it when I've walked like longer. That's what I have to do whenever I'm hiking. I'm like, ooh, snacks. I get really fired up about the snacks, and then it's like, all right, don't give me the snack yet. Delay the gratification. This is one of the things we got to teach our kids. Apparently, it's like one of the most important things we could teach ourselves and our children is grit, delayed gratification. And then it's hydration bladder compatible, okay? You can get a little hydration bladder. Let's talk about comfort. There's a molded back panel with some decent ventilation. I dig the straps. They're nice and fat, and they got a nice padding on them, nice density of the padding. It's maybe a little softer than I would maybe go, but it's kind of nice. This is one of the things I really geek out on, like how much when I helped Pact design their travel backpack, we really geeked out a lot about that. I maybe would go slightly more, especially because this thing's going to receive a lot of wear and tear over time. I love these little meshies here. I do like the hip straps, and like I said, we've got this frame. You can feel it. It's like a little wire frame, aluminum maybe even. How does it work? You can push down on that, you can load your pack up, and then all of that weight goes directly onto your hips. The frame does exactly what you want it to do. Can you see it like jiggling from my hips only? Little weight off of the shoulders. Sternum strap for me is maxed out. This is going to come in at least 2 sizes, so make sure you know how long you are, right? Some men are longer than others. These straps pull this way instead of that way. This way you can get a lot of like grip it and rip it and lock it down. A lot of outdoor packs do it that way. These ones go that way. Now, how comfortable is it? Listen, if you put a cinema like rig on your back, this is not made for that, by the way. This is made for smaller sort of, I would say mirrorless full frame cameras like the Canon stuff. That's what Alex is shooting with, it looks like. Perfect for my rigs, for example, a smaller frame and then lots of space around. So you could fit that like totally minimal setup in this thing, right? Like the really ultra lightweight outdoor type of stuff. What do you got? You got your like sleeping bag? You got a shelter? Are you doing like one of the between two trees thing with a little cover over it? That's pretty minimal. Gosh, you guys look cool. Do you have any girlfriends? Got one of those water pumps, where you're just like pumping stuff straight out of the river, Self-sovereignty. That's like it's kind of nice, actually. Jet boil? You're going to need a jet boil or something like that, right? See, I don't have a lot of camping gear. I haven't done a lot of this ultralight type of stuff, but I am eyeing it. I'm like looking at it because I'm like, oh, I gotta get away, man. Oh, get out there in the nature, man. And as a metaphor, this idea of just having what you need on your back, ultra lightweight bag, just a shell. Now, there are lighter weight bags out there. You're not gonna find lighter weight bags for the outdoors with the camera cube built in. There's a lot of ways that you could get a camera cube that you just stuff into something from Zpacks or Ultralight. I'll link to, well, this isn't quite comparable. This is Zpacks commuter backpack, Dyneema, super lightweight, no frame. This is made for like laptop kind of lifestyle, but extremely lightweight, extremely water resistant, like all of that stuff. I love this bag, and I love this company. Zpacks make epic stuff. I will link to this below, but they also make bags with frames. So if you did that with this guy right here, this is from Wandrd, very simple, minimal, like very tight. If you're an ultra weight weirdo, you're not weird actually. It makes more sense. So again, it's not about the weight necessarily. I mean, it is, because once you put stuff on your back and you're really out there, and there's no there's no app you can use to just like hail a car to come pick you up, right? It's all on your back. So the lightest, the best. Except for if you don't, I think you gotta have a frame. I know Ultralight, I don't think Ultralight makes anything that has a frame. I'm not gonna geek on this right now, but Zpacks frames packed with something like this thrown in. The bummer on that is when oh look, there's a squirrels mating. That's lovely. I'd like to get my camera out for that. Right, you gotta put the bag down, open it up, do the thing. Gotta do the same thing with this. I've gotta take this off. put it down. Open up the back, right? This is because I'm holding a mic to show you. Like one-handed, it's not ideal. You're still putting the bag down. That's why they made this thing. It goes right over one of the hip straps like this. This is not the only bag out there like this, but it's a solid little option. And then once it's on, you're locked in, you got your thing here. You can move it right up to the front. You're walking hands-free. Maybe you take the camera out, put it back in the case, fill it with bars. Do you understand? Nuts. Just a whole thing of just, I almost said camel toes. Is there kind of a nut called a camel toe? Inside this guy, there's also a little tiny pocket on the top, so you could put an extra couple batteries right there, or an extra battery right there. So this is go mode. Do you understand? Like, we're like, boom, chaka, boom, chaka, chaka, boom, boom, chaka, boom, chaka, chaka, boom. When I go out on the trail, boom, I'm looking for some fun. Chaka, chaka, boom. See those squirrels, one is female, boom. Male the other one. Chaka, chaka, boom. They're humping! Get the shot. Get right in here. Oh shoot, that's nuts. Okay, now are the build and materials on this thing solid? Yes, they are. I really dig the external material. I love all this stuff out here. This is really for the outdoors. If you're looking for urban type stuff, all of this is going to be a little less. Honestly, you're going to have a tripod in here. You're going to have a water bottle in here. You're going to be stuffing anything that you need to get on the trail right here. So it's still just as usable. Could this be a travel bag? Totally. I think you could get away with lots of travel with this, but I don't think you're going to want to do daily carry with this thing. You can just fit a lot in this. You're going to look like what are you, in Bali? And you need a little bit of camera protection and a lot of space? Like maybe. Sure, this is comfortable if you're like hiking. This is purpose built for being an outdoorsy bag. And if you're doing outdoorsy camera, photography type stuff, like even serious stuff where you're strapping on your sleeping pad and tent, you've got a jet boil and all the ultralight stuff. This is very, very capable. Very capable. They did a great job. I'm not familiar with this gentleman, Alex Strohl, but I've looked at some of his stuff since, and I dig it. I dig his style. Very cinematic. Seems like he's got a real flavor for the stuff that matters. So Alex, great work. Let's go hiking. I don't want to go. I don't want to spend the night somewhere. Actually, I do. I do, but I'm scared. You're going to find lighter packs out there. You're going to find a lot of heavier packs out there, but you're probably not going to find a lighter pack for the outdoors with this capacity and the camera built-in thing. One thing on the camera thing, it is not the full size of the bottom of the bag, so there's space around the camera cube, basically on the sides and on the back, depending on how you orient it. And there are little Velcro tabs in here that are supposed to hold it up against the thing. They don't. As you can see from the batteries that are like kind of flopping around in here, they were up in here. It doesn't, I think that they could design, and maybe there's still time for this, a better seal for the camera cube up against this surface here so that whatever I have in the camera cube, I can still access, but it is not, stuff's not going to flop out and around. This is all alleviated by, instead of having batteries willy-nilly in your cube, you get a little pouch for those batteries to go in. Go to Tom Bin, pick up a bunch of little pouches, just like thin, minimal type stuff, throw that in there, and that's now it's saved. You know, I'd grab some of those and put them inside of this guy if I was carrying with this, or I could honestly, I mean, all I have is, for like really minimal stuff, all I have is my lens, my body, maybe I take another lens. When you're doing outdoorsy type stuff, you kind of want a longer lens. So, you know, this is made to be able to fit, I could fit this body, and I think I could fit an extra big ass lens. You know what I mean? You know, like the white ones. You know what I'm talking about, like the white Canon ones. Yeah. Oh man. But that's not how I roll. I'm like, but look at me. Look at me. Let's put the camera on me. Shout out to Moment for sending this out. Listen, we've got a bunch of camera stuff coming right away, right down the pipe. I just upgraded or uploaded or updated my camera page at matterful.co. Go matterful.co/camera. That should work, I think. Shout out to my patrons. If you're a patron, right on, man. Thank you. You keep me going. If you're not, go to patreon.com/Chase Reeves. I appreciate you. I've got some videos on there about, you know, about lots of different stuff, and you can DM me directly right there. What are you looking for? What are you looking at this video for? Are you an outdoorsy camera person? Are you ultralight oriented, or are you heading that direction? Are you what interests you about this bag? Let me know in the comments. I'm very curious. Curious what you're gazing upon. What is it? What is the object of your desire? What does your heart long for? Is it not connection? Is it not a sense of purpose, sense of place? If you prick yourself, do you not bleed? If you touch yourself, will you not get it chubby? Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.